Mic check, 1 2 1 2. It's Georgette Pierre, and this is Black and Nuance Podcast, dispelling the idea that all Black people are monoliths, because we're not. My guests and I bring our varying perspectives to pop culture, relationships, and things we go through that we can't always name. Welcome to Black and Nuance, powered by Excitement Radio. My guest co-host again this week is Joe
Back again.
Ellick. Well, you said it the last episode, so I'm gonna say your full name.
Joseph Ellick.
Joe what?
It's Joseph. I did it. I said the full name.
You did,
Ouch.
Joe. Tell these good people who you are.
I am Joseph Ellick, media director and executive of Sunshine Communications and Black PR Wire, and also co-founder of Highly Unique Radio, Highly Unique South Florida media company. So y'all look it up.
So along with my guest co-host, I have another guest on this week. His name is Carl Seaton. He was born in Chicago and had an affinity for film and TV shows when he was younger. This led him to study directing and screenwriting at Columbia College Film School. His first feature film, called 1 Week, which was about a heterosexual man that had to wait a week for his HIV test results before his wedding, went on to screen at prestigious film festivals like TIFF, which is Toronto International Film Festival, and won awards at Urban World, American Black Film Festival, and Chicago International Film Fest. He went on to co-write a screenplay and 2 short films before getting into episodic directing for shows like Chicago PD, Supergirl, The Chi, and the late John Singleton shows Rebel, and most recently Snowfall. I welcome Carl Seaton. What's up, boo?
I'm good.
Okay, so I have a guest co-host on. His name is Joe. Joe, say hello to
Carl.
Carl.
How you doing?
What's up, Joe? How you doing, man?
Good.
So I know you have an abbreviated time frame with us.
I'm good for another hour. I don't start playing until 10. So.
Okay, great. So then I won't rush your ass.
Thanks, Georgette.
So, Carl, we met back in 2014 in the law through a mutual frat brother of yours, and I found that you were a director. Why did you choose LA, or to choose to start with in LA first versus a New York or an Atlanta?
Well, the industry is in LA. It's not in New York or Atlanta. I mean, there's a lot of production in Atlanta right now. Now, in 2014, it was still bubbling. Well, actually, it started really popping around 2011, 2012, but I moved to LA in 99. And there was no industry anywhere but LA at the time. And to this day, you don't get hired in New York or Atlanta or even Chicago. You get hired in LA. You know, so I did my first film. I came out of film school in Chicago. I'm from Chicago originally. Went to Columbia College and did my first independent film. And me and my buddies at the time, once we did our first film, we moved out to LA to kind of immerse ourselves in the business of the business. And that's that was my main reasoning for moving to LA. That was always the plan, to, move out here and to really jump in, because this is where the big leagues were, especially, like I said, back in the late 90s. It was LA. I mean, New York, if you went to NYU or something like that, I can understand why you may maybe stick around New York as a filmmaker,
right.
But in terms of industry-wide, you would definitely come. It was like you always magnetize to L.A. because that's where the industry is basically set up at.
Right.
Is that still the case, like strongly right now?
If you're trying to get hired for work, it all depends what you're trying to do. If you're an independent filmmaker, you can pretty much be anywhere. And I mean, the landscape has changed a lot in the last couple of years, but I'm in episodic television, and I tell people all the time, that our filmmakers in different cities, if they want to get an episodic television, you don't get hired in that city. By the time you shoot in that city, you've been interviewed by the showrunner, the studio, the network, the producers, and they are all out here in L.A. So, that's television, though. But if you're a filmmaker, you may have a lot more latitude. I can only speak for episodic television.
Well, so on your rise to directing, what were some of the challenges that you experienced as a black director? Because obviously, there's not too many of us in that field or industry to begin with.
Well, one of the biggest challenges is actually getting the film made. That's one of the biggest things. And, getting the money, getting the support, especially doing films that are catered to the African-American narrative. We are a very fickle audience. And the first question a lot of black folks ask is, who are the stars in it? And they aren't quick to see a movie that doesn't have any familiar faces in it. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned, I'm hoping this has changed, but a lot of my experiences from back in the day, people watch a bad movie with familiar faces instead of a good movie with totally unknown. So that's one of the challenges. You got a lot of different challenges.
Wow.
Getting a team together. You got to make sure you're surrounded by like-minded individuals that are as insanely driven to get this project done as you are, because a lot of people have different motivations and different reasons for doing a film. Some of them do it because they love the work. Some of them do it because they want to tell stories. Some of them do it just for attention. Some of them doing it for money. You know, everybody has different agendas. You want to make sure everybody's on the same page, because aligning yourself with someone with the wrong agenda can totally derail a project, as it has happened. So there are a lot of different challenges and a lot of different fronts. It's getting the money. It's getting the movie done. It's getting distribution for the movie. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, surviving while you're doing all of this. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of different challenges. And then, you know, this newfound love of people of color has happened post Black Panther, which is great. I mean, it's great. I'm just so happy that, to me, the game changed after Black Panther, because Black Panther was the first time a film made global money. You know, you can make money here, like Black films are made over $100 million in the States.
Yeah.
But the whole ideology was, well, it will never play overseas. You know what I'm saying? So this is all you're gonna get is what you can get in the States. And that's been a false narrative for decades. Fred Williamson has been proving that, taking his films to Cannes since the 70s. But the perception was black films don't make money outside of the States. Black Panther totally shattered that perspective when it made $1 billion. So since that happened, you know, it's all about money. People think about it as just people being mean and mad, but they're like, if I can't make money off this product, I'm not going to be interested in this product. So now that Black Panther's proven that, you know, black films can make money globally, that has kind of moved the needle a little bit. But, you know, as a black filmmaker, you know, there are a lot of different obstacles you're constantly hurdling, because you want to, I mean, especially when you try to move with a degree of integrity and a degree of purpose, you always look at your stories and how they're going to resound and how they're going to reach your audience and audiences that didn't really have any kind of affinity towards your culture. So, you know, you always, there's a high degree of responsibility on your shoulders, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, Carl, you said something very important. I thought it was very important about team. A lot of people don't know it's a team behind a lot of your success. So what was your process of building your own team and your own circle and helping you be successful as an individual?
Oh, yeah. Anybody said they did it all themselves is lying. Can I curse?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, darling.
Okay. All right. So anybody that says they did it on their own is fucking lying. That's bullshit. Especially in this game.
Yeah.
You can't do this by yourself. And I was fortunate enough to align myself with two of my frat brothers, my first guy out of film school. One was an actor and a writer. One was a producer. So we teamed up to create this triumvirate where my frat brother produced, we wrote, my other frat brother acted, and I direct. And these guys, Kenny Young and Phil James, they're still filmmakers as well. They got a film out right now. It's an animated film about dog fighting called Chance. Check it out.
Okay.
But, we were all driven to the point we motivated each other to say, let me step my shit up, because these guys are going hard. I got to go hard. So because I had these guys that were my frat brothers first, and we hung out and kicked it before we even became serious, so I already had a trust for these guys. I knew how they worked. I knew how they moved, so I didn't have to worry about watching my back with them. So that gave me a degree of comfort, as well as they were as insanely driven as I was, so that we didn't have nobody was lagging. We didn't have, because in this game, you can't afford to be carrying nobody. It's too hard. So I was blessed to have these two brothers with me as we moved through, you know, doing these short films in Chicago, doing our first feature in Chicago, and then moving out here, transitioning into L.A. So, you know, you want to constantly have people around your team. It's all about trust, you know what I'm saying? Once you have people that you can trust, that allows you to really fuel the creative process. And, you know, you got to choose your team wisely. Like Jimmy Iovine said this in an episode of The Shop recently, you really have to cast your life properly. And when he says cast your life, it's just like how you audition people to be in films and so forth. You have to choose people in your circle as well, because who you choose to allow in your circle says a lot about you. And these people, you choose the wrong person, they can take away your time, your energy, your money. They can attack your spirit. So you really have to be very careful in who you allow, you know, in your space and in your circle. And that can be the difference between you getting a film done or blowing somebody's $200,000.
Wow.
Exactly.
So I know you're from the Chi and you're very assertive and you speak very matter-of-factly when you speak, Carl, but you know, the whole rumor, or like not the rumor, but the whole idea of like Hollywood being foo-foo shishi and people feel like they can't find their tribe and all this other stuff. Like, did you experience that and how did you navigate that?
I was warned of that, you know, before I got out here. But because I'm from Chicago, which is a predatorial environment by nature, I already move a certain way. That's number one. Number two, I'm not bedazzled by lights and stars and all that kind of shit. I'm all about the work.
Yeah.
So I've already kept my circle small, and I don't really dwell in I don't look at parties, events like I need to be there. That's never been my thing. And all the people always talk about, you know, you got these parties and network. And I never really had that ideology, so I never subscribed to that. So I was always kind of, I'd say, above the fray in that regard, because it's really easy to get caught up out here. 1 or 2 steps, you get caught up on some BS real quick. So, you know, you keep your circle small, you know what I'm saying? And when I moved out here, I was in my late 20s, so I was kind of past a lot of the silly things you do in your early 20s and the club life and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So I never had to really, I was never bothered, I was never really pulled into any of that. You know what I'm saying? And then also, once again, your circle can help keep you in check too. If you do start slipping and going down a treacherous path, you know, you got people around you that love you, not the idea of you, but love you and want the best for you. They'll say, yo, man, get your shit together. Yeah. What are you doing? You slipping. And vice versa. Yeah. You know, when you have a circle like that, men and women, that kind of keeps you on a specific path. And sometimes it's really easy to get thrown off your course for a lot of different distractions, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, you got failure, you got rejection, poverty, a lot of different things can take you off your square, and you can start finding yourself drawn to things that are just, you know, just to pacify you, just to give you a temporary dose of satisfaction. So there's a lot of, I see it happen all the time. A lot of people get caught up in shit and just lose themselves.
Yeah.
Now, and if you come, especially if you don't really have a full awareness of who you are, it's really easy to lose yourself.
Did you have any lulls? You know, everyone goes through those moments where they're just like, shit's not popping off for me. Like, did you have any lulls? And if you did, what was the light at the end of the tunnel?
All right, so Georgette, I moved to L.A. in '99 with a feature film.
Yep.
Since then, I've done 3 features, 3 shorts, 2 web series. I didn't break into episodic television until 2016.
Shit.
Oh, man.
So you want to talk about lows, it's all about lows. That's all it is lows, okay? And with those lows, I mean, you have to keep in mind, too, you're still living, you still got to provide for yourself and have some kind of a life. And it can attack your self-worth, it attacks your self-esteem, and God forbid you start dating somebody that's clowning you because you ain't got no money, which can easily happen, because everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses out here.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there are definitely lows. And then, you know, you battle with bouts of depression. I had a 3-year bout with depression at one point in time because I did a shitty film. So it's a lot of lows. But the thing about these lows, I call them lessons, because in those lows, you really find out who you are and how you built. You know what I'm saying? So you get lumped up, you get knocked around by this game, because everybody's going to get knocked around by this game. That's just how it is. But it fortifies you and makes you stronger if you apply it correctly. Some people, it just shuts them down, and you get shut down. But then you figure out a way to bounce back. It all goes back to what you really want. If you really want it, you're going to constantly figure out a way to keep going, and keep going, and keep going. If you don't really want it, you're going to find the easiest way to say, I don't want this no more, and I'm done.
Exactly.
Oh, my gosh. I feel like I just had this conversation offline with Joe about that shit.
Exactly.
Okay. So 2016, you are now entering episodic directing. What was the break for you? Like, did someone say, like, oh, Carl, I love your work. Come do this for us. Like, what was that moment?
It was John Singleton. John Singleton was a fan of my very first film I did back in 2000. That premiered at the ABFF back when it was in Acapulco. It was called 1 Week. It was a feature film me and my boy shot for $50,000 on 35mm film. Everybody in our world told us, don't shoot a movie for that low. Don't do it. Wait. And we were like, you know what? We'll be waiting forever. Fuck it, let's go for it. Even I myself was like, man, guys, maybe we should wait. I said that. My boys were like, nah, dude, we'll be waiting forever. Let's fucking go. And we all, and I said, you know what? Let's go. And we shot it. It's a really raw, gritty film, but there's a heart to it. There's a universal message to it. And sadly, it's still relevant today. It deals with HIV in the African-American community. And it's about a guy who finds out, this is how old it is. It's about a guy who finds out he's on his party notification list and has to take an HIV test and wait 1 week for the results. That's how you know how old it is. Because now you get results back in like 2 minutes now. But back then, you had to wait a week. So the movie kind of chronicles this week in his life. And John Singleton saw that movie at the film festival, loved it, and we started a rapport. He's also my frat brother, but we started a rapport. We talk about films, we talk about comic books, and so forth. So I'd always stay in contact with him through the years. And in 2016, he had several shows popping, and I hit him up like, yo, man, I know you got several shows going. Here's what I've been doing in the last couple of years. I sent him links to all my work. I gave him ideas, kept him abreast of all my work, and so he could get an idea of that. And when Rebel came along for BET, he had me come in and get interviewed for that. And by that time, I've been studying episodic television. It took me 11 years to get into TV, and I've been studying it heavily for 11 years. So when I got the opportunity, I was prepared and I was ready.
That's that patience, man. You was patient.
Oh.
Patient, So patience and preparation is the key to everything. You got to be patient, and especially nowadays, because I deal with a lot of younger filmmakers that think that they're ready now. And like, I've been at this for 2 years. When is it gonna pop? I'm like, man, bro, you need to sit the fuck down. You know, like if you're looking for that, you're looking in the wrong way. Because I mean, and I had that. I thought I was gonna blow up decades ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in doing that, you realize, okay, I'm not blowing up like I thought I was, but I still have a lot to learn. Because even though with my first film, I won all these awards off of it, I looked at it as, okay, I still got a lot to learn about filmmaking. So let me get back into the craftsmanship of it. It's all about the craft, and you never stop learning. And now I find myself surrounded by filmmakers that have been doing this for decades and having conversations with them. They tell you, you never stop learning. And anybody says they got it all figured out, they're done. They're done.
This is true.
Because you never have this all figured out. It's an organic, cumulative process that never, ever stops.
You've done a lot of shows thus far. I mean, Supergirl, Snowfall's a new one. That was another John Singleton show. I mean, what has your experience been like in episodic directing?
Let's see. I've had a bus flip, a helicopter crash,
Oh, gosh.
a food fight with a bunch of kids at a school, crying babies. I've had a funeral procession get terrorized. I mean, I've done a little of everything on various different shows. And it's great because each show presents a totally different challenge, which strengthens your skill set. And it makes you a better filmmaker and a better storyteller. Because at the end of the day, we're all storytellers. Exactly. And you always have to kind of go back to the basic and say, okay, how best can I tell this story? And I'm always surrounded by amazing storytellers. And I'm getting so much game from so many different places that just strengthens me as a filmmaker. So, yeah, it's all over the place.
So how do you put, like you just said you had a lot of story tellers around you and makers. So how do you put all of you guys' story and make it one at some point to show
now,
on film?
So Joe, when I say storyteller, I'm not talking about necessarily other directors because there are producers. See, storytelling is a cumulative process where everybody plays a part.
Okay.
Like hair and makeup tells a story.
Yep.
Wardrobe tells a story. Set design, props, music, editorial. You know what I'm saying? Cinematography. There's so many different elements to tell a story. Everybody looks at the director and the actors as they're the tip of the iceberg, right? Which I understand because you see them all the time. They get all the attention. But underneath that water, where the rest of the iceberg really is, the one that really does the damage, that sinks the Titanic, that's where all the other filmmakers are. Like I said, hair, makeup, wardrobe, set design, special effects, visual effects, transportation. You know what I'm saying? Picture cards. All these elements help tell the story. So when you bring in all these different elements, tell your story, that elevates the story.
Wow.
With I want to kind of go back to it because you were very poignant and sharing this. When you had going through your 3 years of depression, what kept you afloat mentally, just emotionally? Because and I also say that because black men don't necessarily deal with their emotions head on, right? Like, they'll find a way to curb it or suppress it. So what did you do during those moments, Carl?
Well, the first year, I didn't even know I was depressed. I just knew I didn't want to watch movies. I just knew I didn't want to watch movies or TV anymore, which is odd. Because I love film and I love TV. I try to consume it as much as possible. And when I wasn't doing that, I said, okay, something isn't really right. And you're right, we aren't really taught to express ourselves or deal with our emotions. So that was pretty, that was kind of isolating in itself, And even though at the time I had a very supportive girlfriend that was trying her best to help pull me out, and like I said, the first year I didn't even know I was depressed. Year two, when I realized, I said, okay, I don't even know how to get out of this. So what I did was I went back to I started watching movies that I grew up with that got me excited. And movies that like Revenge of the Nerds and Warriors and old school movies that that just got me excited about the movie making process. And by doing that, I tapped into the joy that got me in this in the first place. Like Do the Right Thing is a movie that made me want to say. Do the Right Thing is a movie that made me say I'm going to be a filmmaker. I'm going to do what Spike Lee just did to me. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I went back to movies like that, all of Spike's movies, Robert Townsend's early films. You know what I'm saying? Not just that, but I went to De Palma's early film, The Godfather. You look at class and everything that, like I said, things that inspired me in the first place. Carlito's Way, Bound, the Wachowski's first film. You just keep going, and I just kept digging and just pulling out these movies that said, yeah, this is why I want to do what I do. This is why I want to be a filmmaker. And that kind of helped re-energize me. And then in my third year of depression, my brother sent me a couple of dollars for my birthday. And instead of going shopping, I went and shot a silent short film. And this silent short film is what helped me get my mojo back. It didn't really, I won some awards from it and everything like that. It didn't give me representation, anything like that. But what it did do was gave me a whole new kickstart on my storytelling.
I love that. Oh my
great.
gosh. Yeah. I mean, because the first thing and I've had these conversations before with my previous co-host, like he avoids therapy. He didn't do all this other stuff. He dealt with a lot of trauma. And so it was just like, well, that could also kill you all, right? Suppressing your emotions, especially black men, because I feel like this happens a lot.
It literally makes you sick.
Yeah. And so, and
It can kill you. It can kill you.
Yeah.
It leads to high blood pressure, hypertension, I mean, people don't realize the emotional toll, the effect it has on the body, especially men of color. We already have a predisposition for somebody like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, various things like that are already ingrained in us naturally. And you take and you load on top of that an emotional toll and the suppression of getting things off your chest, and that's why you got brothers dying in their early 50s and late 40s. So therapy therapy changed my whole life.
Oh, so you did go to therapy? Or you
Absolutely.
Oh, that's come on, Carl. Yes. Okay, so by the time they hear this, the story has already been circulating. But Robert Smith is paying off the school loans of the kids at Morehouse College.
million.
Right, and so
Yes.
what was your experience? You know how like everyone has their own experience about like they went to college but they felt like it didn't prepare them, and they're left with all these loans. Did you feel that college helped you and you were ready for the first opportunity that struck after you graduated from Columbia College?
Absolutely not. So
I got the same answer
the one thing
too.
I got from film school was that I had the work ethic to sustain myself in filmmaking, because filmmaking is long, crazy ass hours. It requires an overabundance of time and effort and focus. And I mean, I watched film school weed out a lot of people. They thought they wanted to be filmmakers, so they thought, yeah, it's a movie. We're doing a short film for 20 minutes. It should take, an hour to do it all? They don't realize it's going to take 2 months to do it. So it weeds out a lot of people. And I saw it happen. I saw people get in there looking at the glam, the glitz, and the bright stars. I'm going to do this and this and do this and do this. And I realized, oh, no, this takes work. This takes a lot of work. And so it gave me that, but it didn't necessarily prepare me for the business. I knew nothing about the business. And I graduated from film school in 94. I came out to LA in 99. I knew nothing about the industry when I got out here. And it was really a sink or swim type of situation. Like, okay, I know nothing. I'm either going to focus and learn or drown. And that was all of us in that situation. You got to go as you learn. And as long as you kind of open yourself once you embrace the fact that you are totally ignorant and say, let me be a sponge and soak up as much as I can and not going here assuming I know everything, that kind of gives you a motivation to kind of keep going. But film school, like I said, it gives you a work, it reaffirms the work ethic and the drive. But in terms of, because there are a lot of people with film degrees that aren't making film, you know, so you can, it doesn't, it's not like going to medical school or law school. Like, you go to law school, you pass the bar, you practice law. You go to, you take the CPA as an accountant, you'll be an accountant. You can have a master's in film and never make a film, ever. None of this is ever product. You can be extremely talented and nothing can ever happen. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different variables way outside your control that directly affect you in this industry, which is why, it's always best to kind of remain humble about any kind of success you get, because it's so much bigger than you. Now, you play a part in it, your talent, your drive, your work ethic, your passion, but at the end of the day, somebody has to say, I got you. Here is your shot.
Right.
Let me help you. Let me put some wind under your wings.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You better be the wind underneath my wings, Carl, okay? Let me stop.
You need some wind, Carl.
I do. I do. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Carl, so for anyone on a similar path, what best advice do you received and you would give to other people in a similar path as you?
I would say, especially in this day and age, because when I was coming up, we didn't have the technology that allowed us to shoot films as much as possible. We were still dealing with film, and all that was extremely expensive. Nowadays, you can shoot a film, edit a film, and put out a film all from your phone. And I would tell filmmakers to shoot as many films as you can to get the bad ones out. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to make shitty movies because you're still learning the craft, And the more you learn about the craft and the more you learn about the kind of story you want to tell and your kind of vision, the stronger you become as a filmmaker. And I would just say, immerse yourself in that and figure out who you are, what you're trying to achieve, and really kind of flesh that out. Because, as you move forward, it can be challenged. It can be challenged in ways you don't even realize it's a challenge. It could be like, you do this film for me, this can lead to X, Y, and Z. And that film could possibly, work against you down the road.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, a funny day. One of my favorite movies when I was young was Breaking, right? So I don't know if you know the movie, but it's a dancing movie. I don't know, Georgette looks confused. Georgette look confused. We talking about Georgette.
Don't do me.
Georgette look confused.
But Carl was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?"
I know Carl. I felt Carl. Carl didn't have to say nothing.
Hey,
He felt it.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm a break dancer, dog.
Okay, we good. We on the same thing. We got to compete
Carl,
now.
I want to challenge that ass the next time I'm in LA because you did not give me breakdancing vibes.
Put that box down there. Put that cardboard box.
Hey, listen, I'm so hardcore, I don't even need cardboard. I rock on that. That's how I got down. I'll bust a windmill in a minute. So Breaking 2 and B Street, it's funny because I had a shadow on Snowfall this past episode, and the gift she gave me at the end of that was Blu-rays of Breaking 2 and B Street.
Oh man, they're the best Blu-rays. Oh man,
they're the best.
They're the best.
They're the best.
And it's crazy to see films like that, and then the transition to, like you said, Black Panther. So like, what do you see like for Black filmmakers to transition on like film in the future, and how it's gonna go from Black Panther to something else?
Well, you know what? Well, I'll say this, man. Black filmmakers are becoming bolder. They're making bolder stories. They're standing in their truth about, they're not shying away from certain subject matters that normally would have been shied away from before, and like I said, they're dealing with a level of confidence and assurance that wasn't really in existence like that before. You'd have anomalies come around every now and then. I mean, like I said, just first of all, as a young Black kid to see Black Panther as a child is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's going to have repercussions for decades to come. Because if I was 6 years old or 8 years old or even 15 watching Black Panther, seeing a powerful Black man in a powerful country of Africans showing us a depiction of power and technology and intelligence and wealth that we've never seen before, that's going to have an effect on my sense of self-worth, my sense of self-pride, and so forth. So the repercussions, we won't see these repercussions for years to come, but they're going to be coming. And I'm sure Black Panther's launched a whole generation of filmmakers, just like Spike Lee launched a whole generation of filmmakers, and John Seaton launched a whole generation of filmmakers.
Exactly.
I know for a fact, because coming out of the theater of Black Panther last year, I said, man, I'm glad I'm a filmmaker. Because had I seen this movie, I'd have been like, I got to become a filmmaker.
Right.
I watch this movie. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
You already beat that. Listen, but Chadwick Boseman next to you, Carl, is bae. Chadwick Boseman will always be bae. I'm just saying. Anywho.
Wait, say it one more time.
I said next to you, Chadwick Boseman is bae from Black Panther. Chadwick, he would always be bae. He'll always be bae, Carl, but you bae too. You cool.
Don't
you
give
cool.
her no win.
Don't do that.
Don't give her no win, Carl.
So, Carl,
usually Gigi is yelling at me, and the fact that she's not yelling at me today is a win.
Okay,
and I was so offended because Carl is such a straight shooter, and he was just like, when he met me, he's like, why are you so loud? And I was like, what do you mean I'm so loud? And then now it's been a running joke for the past 5 years.
Well, remember, Gigi, I heard you before I met you.
Don't do that. No, you did not. Maybe you did.
Yes, I did.
Oh, man, he heard you,
so
you were loud
then. I was chilling at his frat brother's house, who I went to school with, and he lived next door to him at the time.
And you were loud. He complained.
Okay, he did not complain because he had a bunch of people over there, and we were all kicking it. And then Carl came in, and he looked at me. He was like, "Why are you so loud?" There was no hello.
Party or get together.
It was like a chill.
And then Carl heard you out of everybody.
Out of everybody.
That's crazy. Look right at you.
I was inside next door. I was in the house next door. I wasn't even outside. I said, who the fuck is that next door? It's loud. So I went next door. I just stood there and said, oh, that's her. That's her right there. Loud as hell.
But look where we are now. Look where we are now, right? Don't do me, Carl.
Won't he do it?
So listen, Carl, I believe in you so much. Obviously, you don't need me to be on your fan club, but what's your next foray? Because I see film in the stars, like a feature film on some Ryan Coogler shit.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's definitely on the table. I'm really enjoying myself in this TV landscape. I really want to kind of keep expanding in the TV landscape, doing bigger shows, and and keep doing the shows I'm doing, and just keep growing as a filmmaker. But also, I have a couple of feature films and also some series of my own. I want to start getting into the universe. So I have a plan. I've learned not to speak of my plan until plan is
done.
Damn near done with the execution. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but let me just shoot my shot. If you ever need a voiceover, just you holler at me, because that's a thing for me, Carl.
Literally holler at you.
Okay, see, oh my gosh. Okay, Carl, because I won't keep you on for this next segment, but real quick, how can they find some of your other work online, the magnificent things that you do?
If they watch Chicago PD, I've done several episodes of Chicago PD. I've done The Chi. I've done the originals, Supergirl. I did an episode of Dynasty. Bull. So, I guess I'd say go to IMDb and just pull them up like that. And a lot of these shows are like on demand and on these access channels for these networks.
Yes, I love that. And then what about your social life? How can they find you online, social media-wise?
Oh, yeah. Mr. Carl Seaton.
Mr.
I'm not the most active social media person.
We know that. We know. Right. Clearly. Shit. But Mr. Carl Seaton, M.R. Carl Seaton, right?
S2E8.
So, okay, fellas, just because Carl had some time, I want y'all to riddle me this. So this is the next segment called All of the Things. And because Carl's a straight shooter, I was like, yep, he's staying on for this segment. So, Carl, this segment is really lighthearted, stuff that I think about, don't think about, stuff I just want to riff on. And the question I had was, do you all believe in monogamy?
Ooh, she just shot it.
Your face was like, wait a minute,
Joe.
Shot it. I know. Yeah, dude.
Carl, she shot it at me,
Yeah,
Carl.
I did. Carl, but you're our guest, so you got to start first. Are you dating anybody? I'm not trying to be nosy for real, but maybe a little. You saw what I did there? Wow. I'm just saying the listeners might want to know. Wow. Carl, listeners might want to know. I'm just saying.
I'm good, Gigi. I'm good. I have a great situation. I'm cool.
But overall, what about monogamy? Like, is that something that you believe in?
I don't believe in monogamy because we weren't really constructed to practice monogamy. It was kind of a societal construct that we've all embraced, which is why infidelity is so rampant, which is why divorce rates are so rampant.
Yeah,
it's rampant.
We don't really we've embraced a societal structure without really questioning this societal structure, and now we're dealing with the fails of that societal structure. So, it's forcing a circle into a square. Now, I will say this. Some people can embrace it, Most people can eventually because they think it's what we're supposed to do, but by and large, because people forget that at the end of the day, we are primal underneath everything. Yes, we can talk, we can read, we can create, but underneath everything, there's a primal animalistic thing to us all, and that kind of goes against the whole monogamy thing.
Well, if you don't necessarily believe or agree with it, are you able to be monogamous if that's a thing for you, or are you in a place in your life where get this money, get this career popping, I'll be all right?
Well, first of all, in this specific society with this Me Too movement,
oh God,
being out here like that doesn't really benefit anybody anyway. Number one. Number two, I don't have the time or the energy to be investing in things like that right now. That's not my focus.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what you aspire to do and what you're drawn to. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I'm an older guy, so a lot of that behavior is past me because it doesn't. I've done that, been through all of that, so it doesn't really have that level of appeal. And plus, juggling women is
it's the hardest thing in the world.
It's hard.
It's harder than shopping. It's harder than shopping as a single man.
It takes so much to do. You're like, man, I'm giving up a lot of energy just to facilitate the juggling. So once your focus shifts and you look back, like, I don't want that. I'm good on all that.
I'm good.
on all that.
I'm like Carl right now. I like Carl answers.
Yeah.
So your answer is Carl's answer, show?
What's your answer, Joe? Carl got me.
Yeah.
I'm over y'all.
Carl got me, man.
I'm over y'all.
No, but just like he was saying though, in the sense, it's just like give an example. I hate to talk to her because everyone's talking about it. Like Aisha Curry and Steph Curry when she said
the male attention comment.
Yeah, like Steph Curry is to us, like to the people. Steph Curry is a great guy. He's doing perfect thing. Their marriage is perfect. Everything about them is perfect. It can't get better than Steph Curry for anyone. He's the highest paid NBA player. He's MVP. She still wants male attention. I don't know. So it's never. You're always gonna feel some type of way. I feel like as a person.
So if that was your wife, how would you all feel about those comments?
I would have sent her a DM.
Well,
Say divorce.
That goes back to what I was saying about primal. Her wanting attention is a primal need.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up.
You know what I'm saying? So trying to, control primal needs, you always, stutter step. Like you said, she has a husband that is madly in love with her, that has been in love with her since they were kids.
Right, like 16, yeah.
And this guy is beyond successful in his career, beyond paid. You know what I'm saying? But she still wants attention, and he gives. It's not like he's ignoring her. He gives her all kind of attention.
She on every
But she
TV
wants
show.
That validation. Yeah, but she wants that validation from an outside source. Just like when men cheat on their wives, women are, how can you do this to me? Like it ain't necessarily you I'm cheating on. It's just I wanted a variety of something. I wanted something different.
You can't just eat chicken all the time. You gotta have fish.
Oh, see, I can't fuck with that.
No, but sometimes in general, what women don't understand, a lot of cheating going on. Now that I'm older, and I had a thing when I was young that my dad did something. So at first we didn't understand, but now that we all older, me and my brother, oh my God, it's like we can talk to him and understand everything. Like it's not your fault. I got you. Like I get it. Like sometimes, like women can't feel all men needs at all time emotionally. And sometimes we get that from someone else, even sometimes by mistake. We don't, and even when they cheat, we don't love that person. It's just they probably feel the void at a time. You know what I mean? As we go up, and plus we can't, like you said, it's a variety thing. Like I just can't eat chicken all day. Sometimes, I gotta have fish. I gotta have some sides,
Joe. You have to put your hands
rice.
up. I ain't gonna hurt you.
Carl, I feel. You
feel attacked.
I get attacked here, Carl. She looking all of the phone.
But he said something that made me okay. So now switching gears because now y'all have me really curious. Okay, so Carl, with you having been in past relationships, have you? Yeah.
Carl, like, oh man,
he's
like,
a straight shooter. He don't play. I'm
What
telling
did I
you.
walk into?
Yeah, right.
So, did you ever struggle with being emotionally vulnerable with your partner from whatever?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Well, absolutely, and that's what sent me to therapy. That aspect right there. Yeah.
What's it though?
Well, to go even deeper, it goes back to I don't have the best relationship with my mom.
Gotcha.
And that affects
me too,
all
Carl.
my
Same.
You know what I'm saying?
Same with me.
I was dating a young lady, and she said, you know what? You may need to go to therapy because your relationship with your mom, as long as it is like this, it'll always affect all your relationships with women. And I took that to heart. And I started seeing a therapist, and it totally changed. It changed my whole shit. It changed everything. Because here's the thing. When you have a degree of intellect, you can intellectualize your problems and think, oh, I'm good. I don't really need no help because I'm smarter than this. I can outsmart this problem. You know what I'm saying? But what you're doing is you're burying your real issues so low that you can't see them anymore. You start to rationalize your behavior and intellectualize your behavior without addressing the real issues. And that's what therapy kind of did. Therapy kind of helped pull back the intellectualization and pull back the methods that you use to, pacify yourself and really start to make you look at, what's really going on with you and why you move the way you move and why you're so emotionally closed off.
But see, it always connects back to the relationship with your parents or when you were younger. So yours was the same thing as well.
Yeah, same thing. I grew up. Me and my brother and sister grew up with just my dad. It's usually opposite for people. It's just you grew up with the mom, not the dad.
Yeah.
We just grew up with my dad. So our dad's amazing. So I had an issue at a young age where I was doing a lot of great things, but I was looking for women to like come in and just like
validate or kind of serve that role.
This role, yeah. It's my first. I thought it was iron sharpen iron. I used to use that, like Carl said. I used to just like I need some girl who's gonna sharpen my iron. I was looking for a mom on the low, trying to do the same thing. So once I talked to somebody too about that, and once I went and got some help, people talked to me. Said, "Nah, it's a little better mentally than when I was."
Lastly, I'm going to keep it lighthearted on this one. Okay, is there an art of sending nudes? Do y'all send nudes? Men really don't get into nudes?
I don't know.
But y'all receive them shits all day, though.
That's not all. Listen.
Hey, Gigi, I'm too old to be doing that. I'm not with the shit. I'm not with the shit.
Yeah,
I'm not with the shit.
What, on what? Sending nudes or receiving them?
Well, I'll receive them, whatever, but I mean, is it random?
Not random. Right. To me, I'm old now. Like, I feel like I can't. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for me. Like, that's my perspective. Like, you just sent me something. I'm probably walking in the store.
So that's not a thing for you.
Nah,
Joe.
It's
not a thing for you either, Carl, unless you know it's coming.
I mean, if that's how we communicate, there's already a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got it.
So, yeah, like I said, I'm not with the shit. And if they sending me news like that, I'm like, okay, if this your thing, this your thing. So you won't be taken seriously doing shit like that.
Yeah, I can't take you serious. Exactly. I can't take you serious.
I can't take it serious.
In a relationship. Like, if you may want a relationship,
Wow.
like, seriously.
Men are just as picky as women. Y'all sound real. Okay, that's fine.
I wish a girl would ask for a
Gigi, you have
nude.
to understand, Gigi, as men get older,
Yeah.
men and women start to have similar perspectives
Yeah.
as men get older. Men mature, and they get all of the that hunting savagery out of their system, and they start to settle into who they are and what really matters.
Exactly.
All that shit gets irrelevant.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's why, you can look at a woman. I mean, a lot of guys have dealt with gorgeous women that are like monsters. So
my,
just because
evil.
you fine don't mean you solving the problem. Bro, evil.
I know.
You be like, you know what? Yeah, you fine, but are you nice to be around?
No.
Are you a cool person? And if that's not the case, Cass, I don't want to be bothered because you get scarred.
Exactly.
If you get burned, you be like, you know what? I got lessons on my resume that if I don't apply this lesson, I'm gonna fall into the same trap. And guys be like, man, I know a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends that are literally at their wits' end because they chose a woman based on some external feature,
Right.
and they are regretted to this day, regretted, as opposed to the character, integrity, and once again going back to trust. Can I trust this person with me and everything in my world?
I mean, I know I'm cut from a different cloth, but I always felt like guys needed a friend like me, like a female friend, because I've seen guys do dumb shit or about to do dumb shit with a girl. I'm like, no, like, let me tell you, we're insecure. So if you do this, this is what's going to
Learn, though. Once guys learn the lesson, we won't go back. Like, sometimes when I had the same predicament, I was engaged to a crazy lady just like that. Man, she's crazy, man. But she was beautiful. But once I learned that lesson, that helped me in life. It didn't just help me relationship-wise. It helped me life-wise. So sometimes, like, they put you in, God put you in a predicament where you have to learn stuff like that. My dad knew she was crazy. And he's always say, she's pretty, man, and just smile. And then when I fell on my face, I knew he was going to fall. She crazy, man. He said, I knew when I first saw her. I said, why you didn't tell me? He said, I wanted you to learn. It was time for you to learn your lesson.
feel
Yeah.
that. Yes. Carl,
Yeah, Joe is right because once you got a stalker or two, that changes your whole perspective about a lot of
you've had stalkers,
Oh, I had
Carl?
stalkers. I had stalkers too, man. They're bad. They're bad.
Really?
Yeah.
And you sometimes you don't see it. Well, I used to not see it coming. But that's because I was ignoring the red flags because I was blinded by other things.
Yeah.
So once you learn that lesson, like, you know what? Yeah, I don't need this in my life. I'm good.
Wow.
And there's power in saying no. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to, pursue everybody and so forth. It really kind of helps settle you and really helps strengthen your focus. And you're like, you know what? I don't need all this and all this and all this.
Something simple for me was just like girls like going out to eat, right? And at the time, I was an advocate of Little Caesars at the time when my budget was set up. I'm like, listen, and I was like, listen, we can get a $5 pizza, watch a movie, call it a day. No, I gotta go out. We gotta eat. And I'm finding myself spending money on food and all this stuff that I really could have saved. That
because you weren't there really.
yeah, like it's not even. And now that I'm older and I'm doing all this business stuff and media by myself, it's cool, man. Just to eat what I want and have to spend that much and relax.
I love it. I'm not mad at that.
And to add to that, bro, because I hear what you're saying, that's a great litmus test. If you're around a woman that's like, let's go eat here, let's go eat here, as opposed to a woman that says, you know what, let's cook something together.
Exactly. If they can't
Let's save this money, or let's spend this money on this, and this. Then you're like, okay, you have a degree of equity. Okay, you value the dollar. You know what I'm saying?
Equity. I like that.
Yeah.
Carl's great.
I like that. Great, Carl. So I'm gonna run this time marker back. So when I slide through your apartment again, I'm gonna ask you when.
And I'm gonna say, we going to Fatburger.
Carl,
No, I'm kidding. I'm vegetarian. I'm kidding.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Keep it slim and trim, Carl. I see you out in these streets.
She's still trying to get that win, Carl. It's not coming.
Listen, but we be going on and off like offline, so you don't even joke. Those are set up already, and so I had to bring it to the forefront to fuck with Carl because I call him Director Bay. Carl, he knows, and that's why he laughing. He knows what's up. He knows. I'll be up in his comments on Instagram, Director Bay. I dare someone to say something. They don't know Carl and I are cool like that. I wish they would. So, anywho.
Yeah, Gigi. Thanks for sliding my DMs, Gigi.
You are more than welcome. Well, Carl, thank you so much for your time. I know you got to head to the edit. Doing awesome things. The next time I want to see you as Georgette After Dark. I'm going to shoot some more episodes, and it's going to get real personal when I come back to LA when we shoot those episodes. So I just need you to be ready.
You said personal?
Yeah, more personal on Georgette After Dark, yes.
Oh, yeah, I might not be the candidate for that.
Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, it's going to be like a, shoot the shit interview, and then I hit you with that one question.
Bow.
Well, you just flipped the script on me today. We went from talking about filmmaking. So, I don't know. I don't want that after dark smoke. I don't know if I want that.
This is the thing. I will prep you for that question. I was flowing with you, and I was like, Carl will be great for this segment, and I just didn't. Yeah, I had to.
Hey, Georgette, this how I know you full of shit, because you sent me an email with all your questions, but these you were not on the email. That's how I know you bogus.
Squeezed it right in.
No, I literally, because what I do is normally when I have my guests, I actually leave them out of this segment. But Carl, you are a straight shooter, and you were just so raw with it. I was like, you're going to give me raw answers if I throw you into this segment too. So that's why I threw you in.
Okay.
Love you, mean
it. You bogus, all right.
No, you said what?
You still know you bogus. You still know you bogus.
I got that.
You're borderline trash.
I got that. Carl, I got that degree of equity.
There you go.
I do.
She definitely flipped
it. Carl knows, because I was trying to treat Carl to dinner when I used to work in TV production all the time, but Carl and we couldn't get our schedules together. So, anywho. Yeah. Carl, thank you so much, and you have a phenomenal day.
And you as well. And Joe, it was a pleasure meeting you, my brother.
Pleasure meeting you too, Carl.
All right, peace.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.
Joe! That was fun, Joe.
I like Carl.
Yeah, Carl, he's a straight shooter. That's why. You understand why I had to throw him into that segment?
Most guys are great. I say that all the time. Most guys, I give it 80%.
Oh, like in general, like character-wise.
Character-wise, if we all just got together and just talk without any beef, and most beef is over women. So if we just take out the picture,
the ego,
and we all just talked about stuff, it'll be a great conversation.
Yeah, but I mean, I love connecting black men. You're establishing what you're doing and building. Carl is definitely there. It's just, it made sense. I really enjoyed having you as my guest co-host. So I got to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Come back on. Joe, how can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
yes.
JLife_22 or Joseph Ellick. You type it in, I'll pop up.
How do you spell your last name, though?
ELLICK.
Okay.
You also can find Highly Unique on all platforms, radio stations. Your Alexa, just say play Highly Unique, will pop up. As well as
I don't trust her.
I don't trust her either.
I don't trust that bitch. I'm like, Amazon, they're recording convos and shit. I'm like,
it's crazy. She talks sometimes out of nowhere. Like I'm asleep, it wakes up, boom, weather's 80 degrees. I said, I didn't ask you, but thank you. I needed it though, so I wrote it down. I was like, what's going on? Just that Furby thing when Furby was coming alive.
I didn't ask you, but thank you.
But thank you, cool.
See, that's scary. In the middle of the night.
Nah,
I'm good.
I mean 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Not even 6.
Yeah, in your flight. Okay.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Put in the public, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No guests.
Is that all your social? That's all your social? Highly Unique Radio.
HUR SoFlo as well. Look that up. Highly Unique coming to South Florida, and then we may come to town near you.
Nice. I love that. You can find me personal accounts on Twitter at Georgette. Instagram, Georgette Star with 2 R's. You can find Black and Nuanced Podcast on Twitter and IG under Black Nuanced Pod, NUANCED. I am streaming on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, baby, Spotify. Just type in Black and Nuanced Podcast, and you can email me with questions, comments, feedback at blacknuancedpod@gmail. Joe, I am so grateful for you.
Thank you.
This was fun.
This was great. I love this.
We have to do
I have
this
to come back at least more than once.
Like dead ass.
For real.
Okay, no, I'm being serious. You worked out a shit.
Yeah.
You gotta make this happen.
We gotta make this happen more often.
Okay. Peace.